Hey nerds, JJ Kymorist here. Just wanted to give a little life update. I did one on my other channel just now, but for my writing channel, I kind of wanted to give you guys a little update and talk about the writing convention that I just got back from, and just updates on my writing journey. So, first of all, thank you all so much for being subscribed to this channel, and if you're not, feel free to subscribe if you want to follow me on my writing journey, and if you want to join my reader community, link is down in the description, yada yada. Anyway, let's talk about what's going on. So, I am pregnant with my third child. Currently, I don't know if you can see that. It's kind of a dark background. Anyway, pregnant with my third child. So when I give birth in the next couple months, I will have a newborn, an 18-month-old, and a 3-year-old. So life is gonna get a little crazy. It's already crazy, I feel like, but it's gonna get even more crazy. So trying to navigate all of that with trying to build my author career is going to be a challenge. But I'm ready for it. I kind of have some tentative plans, but before I get into my plans for the future, let's talk about what I've been working on the past few months. So I've been working on a huge revision, mostly a rewrite of a book I wrote last year, which I thought was like a romantic drama with, some horror undercurrents. But after getting back from my beta readers and my book coach, I realized that's not what I wrote. Maybe it might have started out that way in the first draft, but in my revisions, it kind of took a new direction, sort of. And I've figured out that I wrote a psychological thriller, which I'm excited about because I love psychological thrillers, and I never thought that I would be able to write one. But apparently I have. So it's a psychological thriller with a lot of dark romantic undercurrents, and I'm really excited about the project. I was a little nervous going into it because I didn't think that I could make it something that had a mass appeal, because I wrote it basically as just a gift for my husband, as something kind of sweet and sentimental in my own fucked up version of what I think is sweet and sentimental. And so, yeah, it took a lot of revision, and I'm still going through revisions. So this one, man, it's taken me, I think, sorry, I'm keeping track of my stats. I've been writing between 70 and 80 hours a month on it for the past 3 or 4 months, I want to say, which is a lot. Like, that's more time than I've spent working on a project, like as far as like hours per month goes. So it's been a lot of work. And of course, I didn't really take much of a break between revising my young adult horror novel and jumping into this project, which I usually only spend about 6 months out of the year actually writing, editing, revising. And because I usually need long breaks in between to kind of like regain my creative energy and all of that stuff. Because I tend to get burned out by the end of a project. And I'm telling you, I am so burned out. I've gone from January up until now, which it's the end of August, just at a dead sprint, writing, revising, rewriting, editing, revising again, between the two books that I've trying to get to complete form. And it's been a lot. But I have realized that I have a little bit more stamina for it now. I think that's something that I've built up to over the years. I don't feel like I need a huge months-long break in between projects anymore. I feel like a month or a few weeks would be sufficient for me, because I by the time I get towards that like burnout phase at the end of one writing project, I find myself getting very excited to jump into my next writing project. So I think that's great. I think I've kind of built up the stamina for writing for longer stretches of time. And so that's good, I think. But at the same time, that's going to be a little bit hard to balance as far as like having a newborn and wanting to jump into a new project, which I probably won't be able to do for a number of months, which is fine. We're in it for the long haul, so that's all right. Anyway, I have been querying, face-to-face querying. Went to a convention. I think I already talked about this in another video, but I went to a writing convention where I got to pitch in person. And then I went on and did a virtual in-person pitching, like through Zoom calls. Those went really well. I got some requests for my young adult horror novel. or partial requests anyway. And then I accidentally, doing that online pitching event, I accidentally booked an agent who I didn't do enough research on, and I didn't realize that she does not represent any young adult genres at all. So when I was writing the query letter for her, I realized that she only represents adult genres, and this was last month or so. And so I was like, all right, well, I already paid for the meeting, so I might as well just try and pitch her my adult psychological thriller, even though it wasn't done yet. Well, still not done yet, but so I pitched it to her, and she loved it. Loved the idea of it anyway. And I feel like her and I really clicked. So, I'm excited to send it to her. I told her, I admitted that I wasn't actually done yet. And so she was really cool with waiting until it's finished, which will hopefully be before I pop out this next baby. I'm really hoping to have it finished before then. Anyway, so that was exciting. And then I attended, I just got back last weekend from attending the Killer Nashville conference, and that one was really fun. It was 4 days. It was a very long conference, but I feel like I learned so much, and I got to meet all kinds of great people and make new writing contacts. I got to pitch a little bit in person. The pitching was not exactly pitching, it was just more like a critique of your first pages, but I did get a partial request for my psychological thriller, which is titled After the Silence. And so that's good, but again, I had to tell her, I was like, it's not quite done yet, sorry. But again, she was very cool with waiting for it. I feel like agents really prefer to have, well, not prefer, I feel like they really need to have a polished manuscript, before you send it to them. So I think that's super important, because that could just be the one little thing that can turn a yes into a no, I think, if it's just not ready yet. So currently, I have sent my book off, my psychological thriller, off to my book coach for feedback, and then hopefully she'll get back to me in the next month or so, and then I can implement all of her feedback, send it back to her for one final proofreading edit, and then I can dust my hands of it. Not really dust my hands of it, because then comes the querying. Then I'll be able to send it out to agents. And my plan for this book is to query it for traditional publishing for about a year. I'll spend a year at least trying my best to query it for traditional publishing. If I have absolutely no bites, nothing, then I might consider indie publishing it, self-publishing it, but I'm not quite sold on that idea yet. But one of the things that I really solidified in my mind after attending this conference in Nashville is that I really, really want to pursue indie publishing with the right project. So this is something that I've been thinking about for a while now, and I was leaning towards that being my goal for the next couple of years anyway, but this really kind of solidified it for me, was meeting a lot of other indie authors there, and some of whom are incredibly successful as indie authors, which I knew, I've always known that indie publishing can be a very lucrative thing, and you definitely can be very successful at it. So that was one thing that I was really excited to learn, is how many people have found success in indie publishing. And a lot of it comes down to having a lot of books to push out there, being a little bit farther along in their career, in that they can write really quickly and push out things very quickly, which I am not there yet, but I do think that I can get there. And I think the only way to get there is, just by doing it. So my plans for the future are to, for one, finish up this psychological thriller, query it for the next year, and try and find as many opportunities as far as the querying process goes, like Twitter pitch wars. No, it's not Twitter anymore, whatever. Pitch wars, online pitching, of course, cold querying, because you got to. But then the next few months after that, I'm just going to put a lot of time, and by time, I mean I probably won't have a lot of time, which is why I'm kind of being a little bit strategic about this, having a newborn and, such young children. I'm going to spend a good chunk of time, 6 months, maybe less, depending on how much time I end up having or when I feel ready to begin writing. 6 months or so doing a deep series outline for my next project. My next project is going to be a horror series. It's going to be somewhere in the vein of occult paranormal horror / erotic horror. So that's something, I don't know, I've had this story idea that's been kicking around for a while, and I feel like that's the direction and the niche that I could really deliver on. And I think that I could be successful in that specific category. So that's that's where I'll be headed. I'm going to do a 6-book series deep outline. And the deep outlining method is something that I learned at the conference, not this past conference, but the one before that. Basically, you write a really, really, really detailed outline for your book, like as much detail as you could possibly put in it. The lady giving the lecture on it was saying she'll do like a 20,000 word outline, which is crazy. But I was like, thinking about it, she just says it takes so much of the pressure off, and then you can just focus on writing it because you already know the story. You don't have to make all these minute decisions. This decision making as you're writing can really slow you down, and really kind of be a hindrance to progress when it comes to drafting. And also, she said to have like a book coach or editor, agent, someone look over your outline, give their opinion on it before you even begin writing. So that way you can really cut down on a lot of the revision and stuff. So I don't know. I have kind of been straying away from outlining really deeply. I'm just kind of trying all kinds of different methods of writing, trying to find what really works for me. And I have not tried this super deep outlining method yet. But I want to, because I'm so tired of writing really messy first drafts. I'm so tired of revision after revision after revision. Once you get to like draft 12, I'm like burned out. So, that's what I have been getting these last 2 manuscripts to, is draft 12. And that's where I reached my burnout. And I was just like, I want to find a way that I can write a little bit cleaner drafts so that it's like most of the work is done up front rather than in post. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I don't know if it'll work for me. Maybe it will, maybe it won't. I will give it a try though. But I would love to have a good series outline too, because if you're indie publishing, you want to be able to push books out quickly. And I feel the only way that I could personally do that is to write in a series and also have the series like really, really outlined, and for me to know where I'm going with it. So going to deep outline a 6-book series, and then begin writing whenever I find the time. And it might take me a long time to get the first drafts done of the first few books. But hopefully the time that I spend brainstorming an outline ahead of time will make the process a lot smoother. I'm really hoping. I don't know. It could just fall apart. We don't know. I will find out if this will work for me or not. But anyway, that is my plan for the next couple of years. Like, I have 2 projects that I plan to try to get traditionally published, whether that be through a small press or ideally a big 5 publishing house, but I'm not holding my breath on that. I am totally cool with the small press. And so I have 2 books that I have for that avenue of writing, and then I'll dive into my indie career. So yeah, I'm excited. Mostly I just want to write good books, and I want a few people to read them. So yeah, all of the people that I met and all of the classes I took and all of the experiences I had at the writing conventions I went to this year have been wildly inspiring, and I'm really excited to begin on my next project. I gotta finish this last one first, but I am very excited to begin on my next project. Anyway, that is all to say that those are my plans. Just keeping you all updated, and I will let you know how all of this turns out for me. If it turns out for me, we'll see. But again, in it for the long haul. So, my husband and I were talking, about how, like, my career is our retirement plan, because I'll probably just keep writing until I die. So, by the time he retires is like when I get to shine in my profession. So I'm like, okay, I got like 20 years or so before I can really come into my own as an author. I was like, surely I cannot fail if I work as much as I can for the next 20 years. Like, I've got to succeed, so that by the time we hit retirement, like, my career is like, boom, ready to go. So yeah, well, so I don't know, just trying to make small strides towards a larger goal that is very far in the future, and I'm trying not to be too impatient to get there. So trying to balance having 3 kids and a writing career, and homeschooling all of them is going to be difficult. But yeah, I'll let you know how it goes. Anyway, thank you all so much for your continued support. And if you watched this whole video, thank you so much for listening to me blabber on. Anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you all so much for watching and listening and supporting me in my lofty goals. Anyway, till next time.